Okay, so Pope Leo is going to be tasked with naming prefects for the various dicasteries within the Roman Curia. Currently, he's kept on most of the prefects that were named under Pope Francis, with the promise to make some changes at the end of the summer. So I wanted to go through some of the biggest dicasteries and try to figure out who would be best suited for each role. I tend to lean more traditional, and while I love to see Robert Serra and Raymond Leo Burke in prominent positions, I have to be realistic and also understand that Pope Leo wants to be a unifier and will probably make picks from all parts of the theological spectrum. So I'm going with the information that I have. There are plenty of cardinals that I know nothing about, so I'm mostly sticking to the cardinals that we have some information on. Make sure to leave a comment if you think there'd be a better choice in any given dicastery. Okay, so let's take a look. First is Secretary of State. I would certainly replace Pietro Parolin. He was Francis's right-hand man in many ways, and I think a fresh face could be healthy. I actually think that Cardinal Matteo Zuppi would be the right choice for the role. Many considered him to be a potential candidate in the last conclave, and he's certainly more aligned with the Francis modernist wing of the church. I'm choosing him because he has such significant diplomatic experience as it stands now. Going back to the 1990s, Zuppi was involved in the Mozambique peace accords, as well as the Burundi peace process under Nelson Mandela. He would later travel to Turkey to negotiate the release of 2 Italian tourists. And more recently, he was appointed Special Peace Envoy, where he has undertaken multiple diplomatic missions to Kyiv, Moscow, Beijing, and Washington, D.C. to promote humanitarian efforts, including prisoner exchanges and the repatriation of Ukrainian children deported to Russia. Cardinal Zuppi is someone that wants peace. He has a great pastoral style and some solid experience to back it up. Okay, next is the Dicastery for Evangelization. This has 2 sections that are currently run by Luis Antonio Tagle and Archbishop Salvatore Fisichella. I think that this dicastery could use a fresh face. I think a fresh perspective from somewhere outside of Europe. Maybe if we're talking evangelization, I say we look to Africa, where evangelizing matters are the name of the game. Fridolin Ambongo has made a name for himself over the last few years. He was one of the main opponents of Pope Francis's Fiducia Supplicans, basically saying it was dead on arrival in Africa. He has a significant profile in Africa as president of the Symposium of Episcopal Conferences of Africa and Madagascar, and he has some experience in the Curia as a member of Pope Francis's Council of Cardinals. I say we let someone take charge who's in an area that is actually evangelizing people, and see if we can shake things up a little bit. Okay, so the next one seems like a no-brainer for me. For prefect for the dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith, Peter Erdo is a perfect choice. This dicastery is tasked with promoting and safeguarding Catholic doctrine on faith and morals, and Erdo's background is perfect. He's a highly regarded canon lawyer and theologian, and has authored significant works such as Guarding the Flame, Theological and Canonical Reflections, and Canon Law and the Life of the Church. I think this dicastery needs someone more on the traditional side. There's too much ambiguity out there right now. You have bishops calling for the ordination of women, communion for divorced Catholics, and all sorts of other wacky heresies. Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez, who's held the position of prefect for a number of years, has contributed to the doctrinal ambiguity that was so famous under the Francis pontificate. So I think it's time for a steady hand at the till, and Erdo would be the perfect choice. Okay, looking now to the dicastery for the causes of the saints. This one is a little tricky. It's hard to make the determination as to which cardinal would best fulfill this role. This requires a ton of research to investigate miracles and to get the facts right in each case. So I think a scholarly cardinal, someone who has a history of research, maybe someone who's authored works. So I would choose José Tolentino de Mondonca from the Dicastery for Culture and Education and move him over to the Dicastery for the Causes of Saints. He has a master's degree in biblical science at the Pontifical Biblical Institute in Rome, and in 2004, he earned a doctorate in biblical theology at the Portuguese Catholic University. He served as a professor and was appointed as the Vatican archivist and librarian of the Holy Roman Church. He has dozens of published writings and the right background to rigorously ensure that the facts are in alignment for each Catholic that is on the road to canonization. Okay, so for the Dicastery for Interreligious Dialogue, this also seems like a no-brainer, Pier Battista Pizzaballa. He's become a well-known figure in the church and was considered a major candidate for the papacy in the last conclave. He's been the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem since 2020, and that's where his real skill set comes into play. He's currently a member of the Dicastery, but not the prefect. Being in the Holy Land, he's dealing every day with people from different religious groups. It's the cross-section of Catholic, Muslim, Jewish, and Eastern Orthodox. It's a very complicated situation out there, and that experience could be invaluable as prefect in the Roman Curia. My only hesitation is that his experience would be better served on the ground at the moment. With the conflict between Israel and Palestine, Cardinal Pizzaballa has been a major voice in the call for peace. If the war could come to an end and relative stability could be brought to the region, I think that Cardinal Pizzaballa could do a tremendous job in this role at the Curia. Okay, now the dicastery for bishops. This is a big one. It's the job that Pope Leo XIV held before the conclave, and almost every day a new bishop is being appointed somewhere across the globe. This job requires a lot of legwork to vet and ensure holy prelates are being elevated. I do think this dicastery needs a fresh face and probably a different perspective. I think we've seen too many controversial picks slip through the cracks over the years, so I'm going to go with Cardinal Charles Maung Bo. He's the cardinal for Myanmar and has been a pretty strong voice in the church, leaning to the traditional side of things. And I think that's what we need right now. We don't need a bomb thrower in this role, but someone who is in line with church doctrine and will look to recommend bishops in that mold. We have too many bishops out there that are going rogue, holding mass with female Anglican priests or cozying up to heterodox groups like the Association of U.S. Priests. I also think it's a good thing that Cardinal Charles Maung Bo has come out against the Vatican-China deal. It's something that I think needs to be reworked, and if he can have any hand in that as prefect of the dicastery, then I think it would be a positive thing. Okay, now we've got the dicastery for divine worship and the discipline of the sacraments. This dicastery establishes norms and guidelines for the celebration of the Mass, the sacraments, and other liturgical rites, ensuring they align with church tradition and doctrine. This is a big job right now, considering all the controversy going on right now surrounding the Latin Mass. Whoever serves as prefect here may have a big responsibility in enforcing Traditionis Custodes or whatever else Pope Leo may have planned. The Pope has also written to the bishops of the Amazon about potential liturgical abuses within the Amazonian Rite, something that the prefect will need to keep an eye on. So I'm going to go with a wild card here and choose Archbishop Anthony Fisher. He's the Archbishop of Sydney, Australia, and is becoming a very popular figure within the church. As with some of the other dicasteries, I think we need someone that leans traditional here and doesn't want to reinvent the wheel. He has experience overseeing a diverse set of liturgies in Sydney: Maronite, Melkite, Chaldean, Ukrainian, and Syro-Malabar. He already has extensive experience in the Curia. He was also part of the Synod on Synodality. Archbishop Fisher has also emphasized fidelity to apostolic tradition, warning against reinventing the Catholic faith during the Synod. I think that if Pope Leo XIV does ease restrictions on the Latin Mass, we'll need a steady hand here to ensure that implementation is smooth and someone who doesn't have a dog in the fight in either direction. Okay, I'm going to do one more, even though there are quite a few dicasteries that would still need to be filled. So the dicastery for laity, family, and life, I figured another African prelate would work well here. This dicastery is going to work with lay organizations, defend the sanctity of life, and address challenges facing families today. Africa is a place where people are still having families, and maybe they can remind us of the tremendous joy and value that comes with being fruitful in family life. So I'm going to go with Peter Abere Okpaleke. He's 62 and is the Bishop of Equilopia in Nigeria. I know I've totally butchered all those names. He's been a member of the Dicastery for Laity, Family, and Life since 2022, so he's familiar with the inner workings, and his background in canon law equips him to handle administrative tasks such as approving statutes for lay movements and addressing appeals, which are key dicastery responsibilities. So there you go. Those would be some of my picks for the major dicasteries within the Roman Curia. Pope Leo XIV has emphasized unity, and I think these selections help to embody that. So please give me your input. Let me know if you think there would be better choices for these prefect roles, or let me know if you could think of anyone that would be a good fit for any of the dicasteries that I didn't get to. Let us pray for good, faithful selections when the time comes. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more Catholic content like this, make sure to like and subscribe.